Hello and welcome back to episode 44 of this journey through the J-League. We've had quite a big time jump, and today we actually have the last game of the season, and then after that we will look ahead at the next season. So let's not waste any more time and let's get straight into it. So yes, when we were last here, we had a bit of a meltdown against Hashino in the Cup. We lost 4-1 in that game, and if you did watch that episode, or if you haven't watched that episode, in fact, go back and watch it, because you'll see me have a full mental breakdown. Since then, like I kind of said at the start of the season, if it's going to be really depressing, I don't want to keep coming back for unnecessary episodes, and I did actually have a load of episodes lined up because I was away on holiday, and then I got the bug. I can't say what the name is because that will ruin this video in the algorithm, but it begins with a C. So I got that after my holiday, which was great. So I was ill, so I wasn't able to really sort of record. And once again, we're in another heat wave, so I am going to be profusely sweating throughout this video. After that, I basically just went away and just kept playing. And then I got to the final game of the season, and I was just like, okay, we'll bring it back for this, and the transfers that I've sort of got lined up, and anything else we're looking ahead to in the future. So what has happened since we were last here? Well, as you can kind of see from these results, there have not been many wins. There were 3 2-2 draws in a row, which is really interesting, but other than that, we just haven't stopped conceding, really, and it's really frustrating. But we have looked at ways that we can actually sort this out for the next season, but I will talk about those later. In our most recent game, however, we did win 5-2 with Neil Browers getting another hat-trick for us. And what that means, in the league, we are safe from relegation, and we find ourselves in 15th going into the last game. So if we get a result against Nagoya, then we might find ourselves in 13th. But to be honest, I don't think it's very likely. You will also notice that Browers is 3rd in the top scorer list. He was top until the most recent round, but that's really good to see. That we have a striker that we know will score us goals. He is a foreign player, which, does cause issues for registration, but how can you not register him when he is that good, or has been that good for us this season? And we have a look at his stats over the course of this season. 20 goals in 28 games. Only 1 assist though, surprisingly. But he has been pretty good for us, especially for a player that is actually inconsistent. Outside of that, we had to put a few players out on loan, including AAA, who, to be honest, I am going to look at selling, but again, we'll talk about that later. And a load of other players wanted to go out on loan, and I just needed to sort of raise the level of all the players that we had. So I did bring in quite a few players on, well, I say quite a few, 4 players on loan, just to plug some holes. And they've been okay. They've not been great, to be honest, but they've sort of tided us over. So I can't really complain. And all of the other players have been fine. It's just been fine. Like, I am grateful that we haven't been relegated, but at the same time, just some of these games have been really frustrating to watch, especially some of these 2-2 games. But today we have that final game, like I said, against Nagoya in the league. Now, Nagoya are sat in 2nd. The last time we played this team, we lost 2-1. So, if we can follow up the previous game, our 5-2 win, with a draw, I'd be quite happy, but I think it's very unlikely. Anyway, let's not be negative. Let's get to the lineup for this game and just get straight into kickoff. So for our final lineup of the season, this is who we're playing. We've got Moller in goal, we've got Matsunaga, Kojima, Nemec and Iwami. Their relationship isn't particularly great at the moment. I wonder if it's a language barrier, but I don't want to assume that it's a language barrier. In midfield, we have Morihara, Jose Ronaldo and Toda. And then out wide, Ozawa on the left, because at the moment Tanimoto was injured. He's just come back from it. I don't really trust him to start. And also Ozawa got 2 assists in the last game, so I feel like I should allow him to carry on playing. Browers up top, and then Yuki straight back from injury. So was Toda as well, actually. They are both on the pitch today. And then on the bench, we've got Tanimoto, Lizuka, Sakata, Sugiyama, Nishino, Takayasu, and Seiki. So, let's not waste any more time and let's get into the final game of the season. And here we are playing our last game away which is kind of annoying. I kind of wish it was at home. I always like it when you have the final game at home. It feels like you can really have a proper send-off. But, neither of us really have anything to play for. Nagoya can't go any higher. And we could get higher, but we don't really have anything to play for other than a little bit more money. So hopefully this will be, quite an entertaining game, because it is the only game of today's episode. Otherwise, I'm going to feel like I've let you all down by, missing the last game and then just playing this one. But I can't control the Football Manager gods. They control me. Coming up to 20 minutes in the game, and we have not had a single highlight so far. Until now. Matsunaga into Azawa. He gets it back. Azawa, can he find Browers in the box? No, but he cuts inside and shoots, and keeper saves it. Tips it round the post. Yagi. Got ourselves a corner. Now we are a threat from corners. We scored 2 in the last game. Can we get another here? Toda's going to be taking the corner. Whips it in to the front post. It's headed up, but not very far. And, okay, well, that was the end of that highlight. Matsunaga now. Throws it into Jose Ronaldo. Azawa's got into the box. Shoot! Oh, come on, that's got to be so much better. He was worried pre-match that he wasn't as physically strong as their right back, so he's had a decent game so far. They've got a corner here. Comes in to the front post. They've flicked it on. Nemec head that out. Toda with the diving header. Suzuki's injured for them. Nishitani shoots, but it's deflected round for another corner for Nagoya. We haven't really had a lot of chances in this first half, to be honest. The 2 that we have had that have been on target felt like wasted opportunities. But Matsunaga's having a bit of fun today. It's good to see. Fukui with another corner. Whipped in. Kojima flicks it away. They've got it back on the right-hand side. Plays it back to Kanazuno, but it's gone out for a corner. Okay, so Fukui's going to be taking another corner for them. And we've headed it up and away. Iwami boots it long. Yuki's going to chase this down. Can he get there? No, he pulls up. Yamashita into Sungjae. Plays a ball to the back post. Lovely that. That's very well played. Might be offside. I really hope he is. VAR is looking at it. What's it going to give? Ugh. Okay, so they've got the ball here. They're passing it around their defence. Suzuki out on the right-hand side. Plays it to Kimura, who's running down that right-hand side, finds a cross in. Iwami heads that away, and they've crossed it back in again. Mola punches it away. Yuki's now got it. Plays it to Browers. Browers has got no support. Where is Toda there? Kimura's now got it out on the right-hand side. And Matsunaga... Oh, don't give that as a penalty. Shut up. Honestly, I think penalties in FM24 are just all over the place. They're so all over the place. Okay. They didn't give that one. That's good. I'll try not to criticise it anymore. But penalties have been a constant issue in this version of the game. I mean, you've seen us over the course of this season. At the start of the season, I think it was like 6 penalties in 8 games or something like that. And it's just a bit of a joke. Jose Ronaldo. They may as well have just had the penalty, to be honest. That probably would have been less embarrassing. Their XG is 2.42. That's not good. I think the clock's just being wound down now. Moller's going to take a goal kick. Goes long. Can we win the header? We do. Nemec's got it. Morihara. And Morihara just plays it to nobody. Great. They play it all the way back to Yagi in goal, who kicks it long. And Nemec wins the header again. And Toda freaks it onto Sugiyama. Sugiyama, can he find the right pass? To Tanimoto. Lovely ball that. Tanimoto, what a finish. Can we get a late equaliser here? He scored in the reverse fixture with the same scoreline of 2-1. We've got the ball again. Sakata plays it to Tanimoto. Tanimoto, nearly slipped the ball through for Toda. Fukagasco, I imagine that this will probably be the last highlight of the game. They've cleared it long, tried to play it over the top for their striker, and the referee blows full time. And that is the end of our first season in the J1. And this is the final table. We finished 15th in the end. What were we? 12 points clear of Fukuoka? There's always the sort of benchmark, and now we need to improve. We need to probably go mid-table or maybe top 10 next season. who is to say? We'll see what the board say. That's probably who is to say. So what I'm going to do is skip ahead to the end of season review, and we can talk about some of the other bits I want to talk about. So stick around, and I'll see you in a few moments. So here we are for the end of season review. So let's start off with the new arrivals, and of course the number one player that we had was Neil Browers, and 31 games, 22 goals. Pretty good for a first season. Yuki Sugiyama, we had him on loan for, a couple of games and didn't really play that well. I mean, he got 7.2, but I don't think it was amazing. We then had Seiki, who we bought in for 275k. I forgot it was that much in the end, but he had a pretty good season, although it was quite injury ravaged. He did get himself 5 goals and 5 assists in 18 games in the league. Matogo obviously came in halfway through the season. He only played 1 game, but he'll probably go out on loan next season. We then had Pavel Nemec, who came in at the start, got himself 4 goals and 2 assists. Odagiri in midfield, he was alright, although I think he does want to leave, so he'll probably end up leaving over the summer. Ozawa, he was fine as well. He was a decent backup for Tanimoto, didn't set the world on fire, but he got himself 2 goals and 3 assists. Here's more loan players that we had that don't really warrant being up there. Jose Ronaldo obviously came in on a free transfer in the middle of the season. I think in the last episode we spoke about him, and some of the other players that we bought in. Lizuka obviously was kind of bought in just because he's a big boy, but he wasn't great, to be honest, and I am looking at offloading him. Shun Takayasu was good. Sasaki was a waste of money. To be honest, I think I'm going to try and offload him because I just can't believe how bad he's actually been over the course of the season. Izumi was a young centre-back bought in. He actually played a couple of games for us in the first team in the end because his stats weren't that bad. And I think he came in at the wrong time when we were in a load of bad form and didn't play great in the end, but I'm definitely going to give him a chance going forward. Sake obviously came in as the backup. He did fine over the course of the season. And then Vesely, a very good player, who we bought him for 50k to make Nemec happy. He didn't play well when he did play. He will probably go out on loan next year. He was kind of, like I said, just bought in to appease someone else. But he is actually a good player. He's a good left midfielder, but he is a foreign player, so it becomes an issue. Now, in terms of players that we sold, there are some players that people aren't going to be happy about that we did sell, but I don't really care, to be honest. We sold some of these players for quite a lot of money, and they didn't do that well. Loans out, I've discussed this before, they're never happy with loans. They're never happy with them, so I'm just going to ignore the board transfer reactions, but some of these players did pretty well out on loan, so definitely going to have to look at how we integrate them into the team. Diego Paz is one that I put out on loan in the winter transfer window. It's not winter, it's summer transfer window, you know what I mean. They went out on loan to Yokohama in J1 and did really well. Played 8 games in total, scored 4 goals, got 3 assists. So looking at the results of the season, obviously, as we've discussed, not great. Not a lot of wins in there, in total 10 in the league, although 13 draws, 15 losses. It's a good first season overall, I guess, especially considering they thought we would get relegated. We didn't end up getting relegated. But once again, we had a really disappointing turnout in the Cups. The All Japan Cup, obviously, in the last episode, we got knocked out by Hashino. We really shouldn't have. And the Japanese League Cup as well, we got knocked out by Kashiwa Reysol. And if you remember that game, we were 4-1 up at half-time. So to lose 6-4 in that game was extremely disappointing. So just some moments to remember from the season. We won 6-1 against Nagasaki. I think I mentioned that in the last episode. We then drew with Sendai 2-2. I don't know why that's a match to remember, to be honest. And then Toda scored this free kick, which was deemed the best goal of our season. And to be honest, I would probably agree with that. Now, the scary bit, finances. Somehow our sponsorship went down, even though we are in the J1 now. Hopefully a new sponsorship will be struck, and it'll be a lot better than this one. Although I've just seen no new sponsorship. Oh, yeah. So it was the same sponsor, that would be why. Broadcast revenue, obviously, almost tripled. Corporate and hospitality nearly doubled. Competition prize money Not a lot. Matchday commercial and retail was up by just over 20k. And this is how we largely lined up over the course of the season. Matsunaga, Nemec, Kojima, Iwami, Moller, Morihara, Toda, Ahmad, Tanimoto, Yuki, and of course, Browers up top. Now, in the way of accolades, Fans Player of the Season, obviously Browers, understandable. Young Player of the Season, him again. Signing of the Season, again. Goal of the Season, we just saw with Toda. Browers was the top scorer. Toda, most assists. Most Player of the Match awards was Toda. Highest average rating was Browers. Most passes completed per 90 was Kojima. Got some records as well. Most league appearances by a player, Yuki's now got that with 161 for us. And then most league goals by a player, Yuki again with 59. Highest transfer fee paid for Sasaki. Gonna have to try and get some of that money back. Ali Pogba sold for 1.2 million. And then the best young player in the J1 was Neil Browers. He ended up winning that award. And I always find it really entertaining having a look through this, because you see where we started back in 2023 when we were down in the Kanto Soccer, I can't even remember what it's called, the Kanto Soccer League Division 2, and we got relegated from there, and now we find ourselves in the J1. And of course the most important thing in this game is the supporter profile update, and we've had 17.6k new followers, which is good to see, although our hardcore, core and family supporters has dropped, and fair weather and casual have gone up. All things that don't really matter. And next season they just want us to avoid relegation again, but also want us to be pretty attacking. So that's going to be an interesting year to have. Our stadium is also meant to be expanded, but I just don't know when that's going to happen. I can't find where to find out when that's happening. So if you know where that is, please let me know down below, because I actually have no idea at the moment. And they want me to work towards repairing the club's financial damage. Yeah, there's a lot of it. As you can see from here, we are minus 1.7 million right now. And yeah, I don't really know what to do. Unless they build this new stadium soon, we're going to struggle again. Like, our scouting budget is already minus. We can't continue selling players every single year like we did this year. It's going to catch up on us, and I would hate to have to sell some of our best players, Browers or Toda, Jose Ronaldo now as well, Morihara, Ahmad, they're just players that I don't really want to sell, but may have to. And speaking of players that are going to have to be sold, there could be an argument that he should be sold. When you look at his stats over the last few seasons, the last 2 seasons in particular, when he joined us, first season, 12 assists, 6 goals, and then it's just been decreasing ever since. Even his average rating. Yes, I do understand going up, multiple levels is going to, he's not going to be able to keep up with that. But I don't think he's good enough. But he is a fan favourite, so I'm wondering whether to keep him for the depth, because he has got a contract for another 6 years at 1.2k, which is a very decent amount to have a player like that on. We do have some players who have teams interested in them, like Nemec, who Kobe are interested in, and obviously they're one of the best teams in this league. And same for Izumi. You got Kobe and Kashima interested in him. Morihara's got interest in him. Shun Takayasu, Guilhem Toda, all players that are good and players I don't want to get rid of. One player who I did mention in that match was a traitor is this man here, Tanimoto, who wants to explore the options at the end of his contract. So what that means is I'm going to have to sell you this summer, and I haven't really been given much of an option. But I think that will be okay, because we have already started speaking to some players to bring in. In fact, we've got 3 players that I'm planning on bringing in. Yamuchi. Now, don't think he has, a lot of scope to grow, but he is a consistent player, and he does love big games. He has a fairly okay record in the J-League. He's played a lot of football in the J-League for Nagasaki, and decent crossing, decent first touch, very quick player. I think he could do the job for us on that left-hand side. The alternative would be to put Paz out there, but the issue that we have is obviously the amount of foreign players that we have on the pitch at a single time, and it's always that problem. Another player we've got coming in is this man here, Matsumoto, who's a centre-back. Quite a tall centre-back. He's got a decent jump on him. Heading's not particularly great, but hopefully I can train that. He is 23 years old, and if I just compare him to AAA here, obviously there are some elements that he's not as good at. However, AAA is just so inconsistent. He's on a lot of money, and I've fallen out of love with him, if I'm honest. I think he could do a better job than AAA. And we have a quick look at that man. AAA did send him out on loan to Shandong in China for a decent amount on the loan. He has not played for them at all, and I do fully intend on selling him at the earliest opportunity. It has also meant that Marcus has had a bit more game time. And the one other player I've signed on free transfer to come in is this man here, Masaki Wada. He will be the Igawa replacement, essentially. I'm going to sell Igawa in the summer, and I think overall, pretty much the same player. Yes, he's not as good in some areas, but I think overall, as a striker, he'll be pretty useful for us going forward as a backup. And he's on very cheap wages. It was only like 450 per week. And, he's got 3 years, and then he's got the option of 2 more on top of that if he turns out to be a decent backup. So that is where I'm going to leave this episode today, and the last episode of this season. So next time that you'll be back will be the start of the next season, our second season in the J1, and hopefully we can move ourselves up the league, find some decent players to come in and replace some of the, some of the dead weights, and I'll bring you back for that. So thank you again for watching, and thank you for all the new people that have joined the channel recently. There's been a few more comments sort of coming through, and obviously that always helps the algorithm. So, if you have watched this and you have enjoyed it, then please comment, like, subscribe, all of that. I don't know, let us know who your favourite player is in this save, or in real life, whatever. I don't mind. Just let me know down below, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you very much.